Little housekeeping note, if you have any questions, please begin to type them into the questions panel. There's several panels on your control arm, and it's audio and chat and questions. There's one that says questions, and that's where you need to type any questions you would like me and George to address during this Q&A webinar. This is not a coaching call. We do not have a script. It is just you type questions, we give answers, you stop asking questions, we go on about our Friday. So, George, you got anything to say?
No, can you hear me all right?
I hear you perfectly fine. It sounded like you had a washing machine in the background there for a second, but we're good now.
Yeah, no, I'm just doing I'm doing a dark load right now.
A dark load. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not much for the whole laundry terminology. I just throw it all in on cold and pull it out. So
there you go. There you
okay.
go.
So we're getting some questions. I'll tell you, guys, you gotta be just a little patient when you start typing questions. Inside the portal. We will reply to the questions. Got an email from someone about 30 minutes after they had posted a question on the portal asking when I was going to answer it. And I will tell you that if you do that, you're probably going to delay my response rather than speed it up. We want you to learn. We want you to learn by the information that's in the portal. And we also want you to take some accountability for yourself. And there's an old saying in the Marine Corps that my gunnery sergeants used to have up in their wall, and it said, improper planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. So what that means is if you set up an appointment for 6 o'clock tonight and you're not prepared for your appointment at 6 o'clock tonight, that is a big issue for you, but it's not for me. So if you intend to start setting up appointments, you need to educate yourself to perform on those appointments. So if you're getting ready to start running appointments, by gosh, you better finish every single module in the program, because I barely jump through hoops for my wife and my children, and I don't want to jump through hoops for 50 other people every week. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I'm not coming across as a smart aleck, but George and I pride ourselves on providing clear and concise information at an affordable price. So if you need us to be at your beck and call, we'll be happy to send you an invoice for $100,000. And at that point, we will be at your beck and call for about 8 months. So I think everybody should be clear on that.
Tim, I'm gonna go ahead and say we'll do it for 12. I mean.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Regardless, the point is that number is supposed to scare them away from expecting immediate return phone calls for a $200 program.
Right.
So, that being said, we'll hop into Brenda's questions. Located in the state property for sale, but is listed by a realtor, consider or pass? Definitely consider. Problem I see is wanting too much and needing for a realtor to cover realtor's commission. Your thoughts? Talk to the realtor. See what the realtor knows. A realtor can be your friend. I would contact the realtor and say, hey, what's going on? Seems like it's listed a little high. And the realtor may tell you, and I hear my wife say this a lot, the realtor may tell you, look, well, she says this to other realtors actually, but sometimes a seller is dead set on the price and it has nothing to do with the realtor. Sometimes a seller, if they see a tax value at $100,000 and they don't know what the values are, they demand $100,000. They call a realtor, and the realtor has no control over it. Now, some realtors choose not to take those listings, but some realtors choose to take the listing to have a sign in the yard. So I would talk to the realtor and see if the realtor can help you out, because ultimately realtors are incentivized by commissions. Commissions are paid at closing, so they are incentivized to get the property to closing. They don't get paid to have a sign in the yard.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, just to kind of add on to that is, find out who's in control. You know, I mean, is it, and I don't mean that the realtor is 100% in control, but, you know, I guess what, Tim, you were saying is sellers are dictating what's going on instead of the realtor. Really, it's being a team, you know, it's kind of a team concept, but I've had clients that early on that dictated what I did. And, you know, I was just basically a facilitator to what they wanted to do. They would call out demands, or they demand this and that, and I wanted to have an opportunity to get paid. And what I found out is when they're in control, usually I didn't get paid because they didn't know what they're doing. So I learned early on that, hey, I'm the one that needs to kind of take, you know, at the end of the day, it's my hours and it's my time and it's my resources that, and so you can create that when sellers, there's, you know, different types of personalities that they want to be in control, and they're going to tell you it's my way or the highway. And at the end of the day, usually those transactions don't work. You know, I try to deal with people that, you know, are willing to give and take. You know, and so I would call the realtor up and say, look, you know, let's just start a conversation. I want to buy this house. Your seller wants to sell a house. Okay, now let's just try to figure out a way where everybody, you know, gets as close as what they want. You know, I want to buy it really low. Your seller wants to sell it really high. But let's try to figure out a way where everybody can come to a common ground. And if we can't, we can't. You know, this is a numbers, and, you know, Tim and I, we don't, you know, I don't get real high or real low until the check's in my hand. You know what I mean? Just over the years, I kind of have a common level, because in this business, you just never know until the check is in your hand and it's deposited and clears. You know, you don't have a done deal. So, all right. Chris, yeah, I probably will. I mean, you know, this month was my first month for the drivers. You know, I sent that out. I apologize that I sent it out and then I didn't. I used a couple people to help me out this month for driving properties and things like that, and comping and title research. So I've got everyone's email that responded, that raised their hand and said that they wouldn't mind driving properties, and so I will send all of you guys an email if I need you, and see who responds and kind of let you know.
Okay.
All right.
Sent out mailers on the phone.
Carlos.
Got my first call. Woohoo! I've done some prelim work, and this could be a deal. Okay, slow down a little bit, but I say this because everyone's first call, they get pretty excited, and it's exciting, and I'm happy for you, Carlos. Yes, George would be happy to work with you on it, but you need to email George and this goes for George and for me. When you have a deal, quote unquote, a deal, what you have is a lead, okay? A deal is a contract. When you have a lead, there's several things that are important in this lead. What's the house worth? What's it need? What can we get it for? Those are the first three questions I'm going to ask anyone that calls me about a house. All the other stuff doesn't matter to me. So, and then if the first three answers sound good to me, the next question I'm going to ask is, why are they selling?
Hey, Tim, what were those three questions? Because I didn't even write those down. I'm a student now.
What's it worth? What's it need? What can I get it for?
Okay.
Because, you know, that's just the basis of it. Now, when you're looking at working with me or George and you're wanting to give us part of the deal, yeah, we're going to help you through some of that, and we know that you may not have looked at the inside of the house, but you should be proficient enough in the modules that you can email your buy-call worksheet and an SOS filled out based off the year built and your comps and the square footage and what you think that house, I mean, it should be pretty close without looking at the inside of it. And that's the way you've got to work with this, because there's two ways to work with me, or there's three, and George is pretty much the same. You want me to hop in my truck, meet you somewhere, and just validate the repairs and then drive off? You know, I'm only going to charge you like $1,000 when you sell the house. You want me to work with you, meaning you provide data, I go and do the negotiation, that kind of stuff. I'm going to take about half of it. You want to send me an address and have me do all the work, you're going to get paid a referral fee. I hope that makes sense to everyone, because you have to, you know, if we're doing halvesies, if we're doing partnerships, it means equal work for equal pay, you know, women's rights and all that other stuff. So remember that. So Carlos, you need to email, just like the modules say, you need to send George an SOS, tax roll, in a Dropbox or box.net link with the tax rolls, the comps, and all the data that you have. And we understand you haven't been inside, so the ERC will just be an estimate. George, anything to add?
No, that's it. That's the biggest thing. Do not send Tim or me anything, any attachments to. You need to send us a link, a Dropbox link or a box.net, a cloud link. So then I can go, because people send me a 20 megabyte. I got a 40 megabyte file or something. I'm like, really? So look.
Yeah, your iPad like quits on you.
Right. So, y'all all need to have, we talk about this in systems and technology, you all need to have a cloud system. You know, Tim and I use Dropbox. I use box.net as well, but I like Dropbox better now that I've been using both. So,
yeah, and actually I'm getting ready to do a tutorial on the new Google Drive. That is it's about to replace Dropbox for me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because you get 5 gigs for free to start.
Nice. Okay.
But George, I'm an Android guy. You got to remember, I'm not big into the Apple stuff.
I got you.
So the point is, Carlos, congratulations. I'm glad you were consistent and you stuck to it. And now you've gotten a lead. And just always remember, it's a lead, and the work you put into it will determine whether or not it's a deal. So Pam, I've done comps for a property in Arlington where there have been no solds for the last year except foreclosure or HUDs. Walk away from property or proceed. Whoo, Pam. There is no yes or no answer to that question. I will tell you, there are certain neighborhoods that REOs and HUDs over the last 8 months have become the comps. That house, if you guys that were on the bus trip with us in March at 4800 Harper, I guarantee you that house is worth $80,000, but it would not appraise above $66,000. And I tried to argue with the appraiser, and he said, send me your comps. And I couldn't send him my comps. In my heart and gut, I feel like it's worth more, but unfortunately, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath in that area, the REOs and the HUDs have become the comps. So I mean, I don't say walk away, but you just have to establish market value, and sometimes your REOs and HUDs become market value.
Yeah. I want you guys all to listen very closely. Really, I'm never walking away from a house. I mean, it's just the likelihood of you getting it is minimized when there are a lack of comps, because you have to be very conservative. You have to use HUDs and foreclosures or REOs. It's not foreclosures, Pam, it's REOs. foreclosure is something that hasn't been, that you buy on the courthouse steps, or it's a pre-foreclosure. That means it's posted for foreclosure. So you're talking about HUD properties or REOs, real estate owned. So I never walk away. I've got to be more conservative, and the end buyer is going to be more, they're going to look at it and say, what comps did you use? So you got to use those HUDs, and that might be the market value, even though you and I, just like Tim said, he, and his gut told him it was worth 80, but everyone has an opinion. So, and at the end of the day, appraisers are very conservative right now. So what I would say is run your comps based on the REOs and the HUD properties, and I would sit down with the seller and say, this is the market, and this is what every appraiser is going to probably have to use. So
yeah, and guys, I'm going to give you
I'm going to give you the most simple way I can say that. Property Analyzer Pro, MLS, whatever your InvestWay, whatever you're using, is like the scale in your bathroom. You may not like what it says, but it's going to tell you what it is. So, I mean, sometimes it just is what it is. So don't try to change what that scale is. You can't, like right now, I weigh 200 pounds. I don't want to weigh 200 pounds. But I can't take 1 foot off the scale, put it on the tile in my bathroom, and say that I weigh 150. I just can't do that. And if you do, someone's going to end up pointing back at you and saying, no, you cheated, you weigh 200 pounds. So don't try to change what it says. You want to take this one from Chris, George, or are you in your car?
No, I'm here. Okay. So I was talking to George a couple weeks ago, asked if we do all the legwork, found the property, put it under contract, just needed help to find the end buyer from your buyer's list, George. Would there be a nominal fee? Perhaps the first couple would be free to help us get started. It's probably not free, Chris, but it wouldn't be a lot. I would say, look, DFWinvestors.com is one portal where you can get in front of a bunch of people. So
let me answer this for you real quick, Chris. Like me on my personal email list, Chris, I will not email blast a house that either I haven't seen and agreed with the numbers and verified, or my guy Jason. If one of us two have not seen and verified the comps and the condition, I will not send it out under my name, and George is the same way. Because part of the modules is we talk about, the reputation you develop, and there's a reason that over 50% of every email I send gets opened. And so I can tell you, me personally, I would not send out a house for free or a nominal fee, because for me, I have to go out, review the comps, and verify the ERC. Now, you can put it on my website for free because that's not me endorsing it. That's just me providing a service. But when I send something out under my name, it's got to be something I've verified, and I don't run comps and do estimates and take pictures and stuff for free.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I'd have to review it and bless it, and so, I mean, again, and that takes time out of my day. So I gotta charge. We both would have to charge for that. Now, look, we want you guys to succeed. I mean, we really do, and because that's a reflection on us, but not for free. We're not in the business of working for free, and we understand that you guys have paid us. But I came from a conference that past weekend that they were charging $30,000 for stuff that Tim and I are doing for I mean, it's mind.
Is that, George, is that why you told me that you'd pretty much had enough of that?
Yeah. I mean, it was again, I knew, I'd never been to these conferences, the fortune builders, and it's the same thing. It's just, hey, 5, 20, 30 grand, and they've got to, it's just, at the end of the day, it comes down to traffic and conversion, and real estate is local, so I think they have, there's a lot of tools and cool, fancy stuff, but it's about going on appointments and being consistent at your mailing and talking to people and having a clear understanding of, there's 2 ways that we buy real estate, based on price or terms, and that really is it. And it's a numbers game. So anyway, have you heard any new info about coming out from banks about REO flips to rehabbers? I'm hearing that there are non-investor friendly rules coming out with new seasoning requirements on short sales. I haven't heard anything. I mean, besides the 90-day flip rule, but that was waived a couple years ago. It doesn't matter what the guidelines are, because lenders are still dictating. I can go to a lender and say, look, there's no more 90-day seasoning, and they're like, look, we are the ones that are loaning the money. We don't care what FHA says. We're not going to do it. Or you got to get 2 appraisals. So there's always an answer, Brenda. They're not going to do something that would totally eliminate rehabbers from making a living. It just doesn't make sense. So, these A to B, B to C transactions on short sales, meaning, I write an offer to a homeowner and then I immediately sell it to someone else. I mean, yeah, they're going to do things to preclude investors from doing those type, because there was a lot of fraud that was, inundated with fraud and straw buyers and things like that. But Brenda, I don't think that they're going to do anything that would affect people
Brenda,
buying your contracts that you've gotten.
Brenda, where did you hear that? Because if you're talking about a certain person I know that is trying to drum up membership in a certain organization that's supposed to be fighting the banks on a national level, I mean, I'd really like to. You said you're hearing about non-investor friendly rules. I'd really be curious to know where you heard that, because I do like to look into things. I like to be educated. So why don't you, if you've heard it or you got an email about it or something, send it to me. I'd like to see that. Did I lose you, George, or I just cut you off?
No, you just cut me off.
I'm sorry,
but I'm used to that.
Hey,
all right.
I'll mute myself and I'll just talk to myself.
No, you're good. All right, Chris, I am looking to do HUD properties, and hold on, I'm looking to do HUD properties. I was looking at hard money lenders here in DFW. I know you guys meet with Longhorn. Do you think Longhorn would be willing to provide transactional funding for new guys such as FTC students? Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, Tim, you jump in, if I'm saying this incorrectly, but, basically Longhorn and most hard money lenders, they want to know that you have that end buyer before they're going to loan you money. So you've written, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out, you're writing up a bunch of offers, Tim, but how do you get them accepted by HUD if you don't have the end buyer already? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you already have like the pre-approval.
Yeah, you've got to show HUD that you can, the proof of funds, so to speak. So I'm a little fuzzy on how do we, does Chris over there at Longhorn give it to you, but it's conditional?
I mean, they all are. Yeah, he gives you a pre-approval, but they're always subject on property review and subject on, if the moon sets at 2 o'clock and all this other stuff. I mean, any hard money lender pre-approval is so laden with back-out clauses because they need to be able to make sure they can come in and inspect the property and get it appraised and then set the terms. So what you do is the answer to your question is you go to networking events and you form a relationship with someone. Chris at Longhorn is good. There's Dean Lantos over at Bay Mountain Capital is probably one of the easier to work with. Mike Hanna at InvestMart Mortgage. He's kind of a no BS guy. You need to go to networking events and meet these people and form a relationship with them. That's the best way. Because then they'll send you buyers. Several hard money lenders in town, when they get a new pre-approved buyer, they email me the buyer's name and information and to add to my investor list. But again, that comes from the fact that I put out quality stuff.
All right. She's only 2 payments behind and she's going to walk away from the house. Do I go ahead and try to deal with the bank? Yeah, I would say, I don't know, was that a follow-up to a question?
Yeah, that's off of that, she ran comps on the house in Arlington one.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I would say, yeah, I mean, I would get an LOA, that letter of authorization, you know, and you can download that off FTC, and then call the bank. I mean, if you already know, but just verify that. She's 2 payments behind, she's going to walk away, you know, and run your numbers. I mean, is this something that has a lot of equity, Pam, or is it you're going to basically get it under contract, it's kind of a low equity or no equity deal, and you're going to kind of assign it to a, you know, an end buyer, not a cash investor, but an end buyer or an owner occupant? So I need more information before I could really answer that. But the short answer is get an LOA, always get an LOA, verify what is the loan, you know, the loan balance, the loan terms, and the loan delinquency.
Hey, so the next question, what do you say when someone has been approached already by a large organization with a stop foreclosure campaign besides that they are out of state? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you say to them? I mean, you say, I want to buy your house. Maybe I don't understand the question. What advantages?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, what do you say to someone who's been approached stop foreclosure campaign besides that? Yeah, I would just say, look, you know, find out if that's the best choice for you. You know, my thing is always be an advocate and help them. You know, if they want to stay, then, you know, support them and say, but follow up, because, you know, if you can afford the place, then I'd say try to stay. If you can't afford it, then you need to sell. And we're here. If you decide you want to stay, I mean, if you decide you want to sell your house, then I want to talk to you. Let's figure out a way where you can sell the house and it's a win-win transaction. But I just follow up. I would just follow up with them and say, how's that going? I'd be a little, you know, leery that, you know, I'm not saying that they're not truthful, but there's a lot of people that say they can stop foreclosure, and the fine print says you pay them $500 a month. So.
Okay, so the next one's regarding Tim's answer from earlier, going out and looking at the repairs on a house for $1,000. Is that out of the assignment fee or upfront cost? We write a check for that day. No, it's out of the assignment fee. If you want to rent me by the hour, there's a 2-hour minimum, $100 an hour. So if you want to just have me come out and pay me to come out, it's $200 on the spot. If you want to defer it to when you actually make money, I charge $1,000 on the HUD.
My thing is, yeah, my dad taught me a long time ago, 100% of zero is still zero. So my suggestion to you guys is, hey, if it costs, I mean, what do you, that $1,000 that you pay today or at closing or when you get paid, what are you going to, you know, we've had several students that have used this on 1 or 2 or 3 transactions, and then, Tim, they stop calling because they get it. They just need that one or that first or second deal, and, you know, and they're like, okay, I feel a lot more comfortable, and this business is about being comfortable and confident in what you're doing. And Tim and I have a lot of confidence because we've got a lot of reps under our belt. You know, we've done this, so that's what you need, is that confidence. You know, I was talking to a student the other day, and she's just not confident. But, you know, Tim and I know that if she goes through a couple transactions and with us, she'll gain that confidence, and then we understand there's an attrition. She's not going to need us forever. So,
George, I think we're out of questions at 12:35.
wow.
That's a good problem. Oh, man. No, I'm just kidding, Pam. Can we do drive-alongs with Tim or George specifically to practice ERC? I'm comfortable walking with sellers, but not confident getting accurate ERC. Yeah, guys, we're going to start promoting the road trip and roadmap sessions. We've just been really snowed under with investor direct mail and getting that fixed and perfected. And we've got some exciting changes to that we're going to roll out to you guys here soon. But that's been kind of complicated. And then, of course, another complication is it's summer and we both have young children. So, yeah, I would imagine that me personally, I won't be doing any more road trips until probably mid-July, and then I won't be doing any in August, but then I'll pick back up in September.
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah. Pam, yeah, I mean, who will come to Arlington? I would say that would probably be me versus Tim. Yeah. So where do they email, Tim?
Just,
is it
just edu@flipthatcontract.com.
all right. So EDU stands for education. edu@flipthatcontract.com. All right.
Okay. Well, it is 12:37. We have no more questions. So, George, I vote to adjourn the conference call.
I second that motion, Tim.
Well,
I want to state that I appreciate everyone on the call. Hey, this thing, you know, this business is about getting out there, and I'm happy to see that some of you guys are following what we're saying as far as mailing those. One of our students, I went out to for a drink after the roundup last night, and you know, he's got 2 appointments today and 2 appointments tomorrow. So, you know, this isn't rocket science, but you know, he basically jumped off and started mailing a bunch, and I just said, just do it. I don't care if you don't get anything. Let's just keep on doing it. Month 1, it didn't really pan out. He got a couple calls, but he's so excited. So I know that a lot of you guys are following what we're preaching and practicing, and so I just want to encourage you guys to keep it up and practice as much as you can and go on these appointments, because you'll gain that confidence, and that's really at the end of the day what you need is that confidence.
So, George just made a very good point. And what I want to stress to you guys is marketing or advertising is a campaign. It's not a direct attack. And so what you have to realize is if you're not going to be mailing something to someone, you have to be knocking on their doors or cold calling or something like that. But the point is, no one's going to get online and Google, I want to sell my house to George Roddy, right? Unless they know who he is, because they've already met him, they're not going to do that. He has to get his name out there to where they say, hey, who's that guy, that Roddy guy? Yeah, let's find him. So I'm going to.
Hey, Cody.
George, you're still online.
No.
I'm going to give you a quote that is very much about muting George. Okay, Henry Ford. A man who stops advertising to save money is like a man who stops a clock to save time. And remember that, because the point is it doesn't work. So until next time, I hope you people, well, on average, how many people call you the first mail out versus the second, third? All right. I knew that someone was going to catch me before I got out of here. Okay, so here's what I like to say. In my professional opinion, if you, on your first mailer, you should expect 0 phone calls. Expect. On your second mailer, you should expect 0 phone calls. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I've got my chart over here. On your first mailer, I charted it out the other day. You should expect 0 phone calls and 0 contracts. Your second month advertising at a consistent rate, quantity, and frequency, you should expect 1 phone call and no contracts. On your third month of mailing, you should expect 2 phone calls and 0 contracts. On your fourth month of mailing, you should expect 4 phone calls and 0 contracts. On your fifth month, 8 phone calls and 0 contracts. By your 6th month, you should expect to get about 16 phone calls, get a contract, and you should average 1 to 2 contracts every month for the rest of your career. Average. Does that mean you're guaranteed to have 1 a month? No. But it's all about expectations, folks. If you're starting from 0, expect to have 0. And if you're not ready to commit to the campaign, at least get yourself fully educated, listen to everything in the portal 6 times. That way, when you're ready, and, okay, man, here I was getting ready to leave. But I tell you what, I'm going to do this for you because I love you all. All right, so I'm going to draw you a table in Microsoft Excel. A couple people are asking what I just said. I understand that's kind of a lot to
digest.
Yeah, digest audibly.
Kind of like that lunch you just digested on this conference call.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, well,
I know. Are you spying on me?
Yeah, I've got cameras. I know what you're doing at all times.
I know what you're doing at all times.
These Roddies, you can't trust them, folks. All right, so can you all see my screen now, George?
Yes. Yes.
So, because here's the thing about this chart. And now I'm going to really blow it up so you can really try to digest this. This is about expectations, not actual results. Because if you don't get a call your first month, this is, just so you know, that's where most people quit. Or they change list or strategies, and then they never get out of month number 1. Month 2, if you do get a call, you're new, you're probably going to mess it up. That's just the bottom line. It could be a lay down call. You just need to expect that you're going to make mistakes. You may not answer your phone on time, then they may call me next, and I may go out and buy the house. Month 3, you're getting a little better at it. You may actually go on an appointment that month. But still, I want you to expect not to buy a house. So, month 4, by now you should be getting at least a call a week, because I mean, if you're only mailing 1,000 pieces a month, now you've got 4,000 pieces floating around on your behalf in your targeted demographic. So, but I still want you to expect 0 contracts, because it's all about creating an advertising campaign that's sustainable. Month 5, you should expect about 8 phone calls, and still, I'm telling you, you go on a couple of appointments, we're going to say you get outbid, we're going to say you offered too low because you were nervous. The point is there's just no way to guarantee success, but I can tell you that if you do this for 6 months, by month 6, you should be a pretty busy guy or gal, and if you advertise in a consistent method the way we teach you, I can tell you you should expect a contract and a closing by month 6. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cross a line I try not to eat. I'm going to cross a line I try not to cross. And, you know, I saw on Ron LeGrand's website today, turn $10 into $10,000 in 30 days. And if you've seen that, if you're thinking that, you need to hang up and call him, because that's just not a realistic expectation. That's from someone that can actually advertise and buy on their own behalf anymore. So, love Ron LeGrand. He's a Marine, simplify and all, but I'm a realist. So, anyone else got any questions? George, I'm out of here, man.
All right, I am too. Thanks so much for being on the call, guys. I'm George Roddy.
Tim Harridge.
Flip that contract.
See ya.